Bitcoin is pumping once again, and it doesn't look like it wants to stop anytime soon. I also still expect much higher prices. We are going to look at some trades, some targets. So if you like the content, please do me a favor, like, subscribe, click on the bell, click, and also if you don't miss anything, leave me a comment, share this video with your friends if you think it is useful. Also feel free to follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Both of those links you'll find in the description. Without further ado, let's start diving in. And I already cleaned up the chart a little bit compared to the previous one that we used. This is where we are looking at right now. This BTC on the 4 hour. And my most preferred scenario of from this point first going lower to take the liquidity and then to go higher, of course didn't came to fruition. Bit of a bummer because this was the most obvious trade since there is so much liquidity here underneath building up. And from here on we just marched higher and higher and higher. We are finding some resistance as we speak. We are at a very macro golden pocket. You can see here the 65 and 61.8. So this whole area here is a macro golden pocket, and also we just touched a little bit earlier today a naked point of control, which was at 86,987, and therefore we're finding now a little bit of resistance and going lower. Also underneath I have here a yellow line. In case we do go lower, you do not want to lose this level right here of 34,550. If you lose it, then you are going to take out the liquidity underneath all of these lows. So that is a very important level to hold. Let me then quickly zoom in because that is actually where the action is. It looks very strong. As you can see, there is just barely any retracement. Someone or a lot of people who might be waiting for, you know what, before I'm going into long, I wait for a good retracement, take liquidity, then go higher. This is just now a bull market territory. These retracements, they just never occur or barely occur, barely happen. So it's very hard to get into a trade because it just marches slowly higher and higher and higher and higher. And that then also causes a lot of frustration for a lot of traders. What can you do if you're not in a trade? There are a few scenarios that I am looking at right now. This is one that probably is not going to play out, but you could say, you know what, I'm pulling a fib retracement and then I am going to take a trade from 0.5 golden pocket ish. So really treat that as an area. That will be then this area right here. Why? Because then you're taking liquidity underneath these lows. Leave everything else here intact. That's completely fine. Just come down once, maybe at New York Open, take liquidity, 0.5 golden pocket, and then to go higher. Also, yesterday's high was this level right here. So if we would tap it or retest it, or maybe once go underneath and then go higher, and then eventually go higher, that would be completely fine. So this whole area starting off from 36,300 to 36,080, that is actually a very nice area to long. So that would also be then my first long trade that I would be looking to take if we reach that level. But right now everything looks pretty dang bullish. So is there something that we can take maybe a little bit more aggressive? Yes, actually then I will be looking to take the VWAP, that is that white line that is now on my screen. If you eventually go a little bit lower and retest that VWAP and then to go higher, that actually would be a nice trade, but you want to see something constructive. So be careful, this is very aggressive, but right now in this environment I think you need to be aggressive because as you can see there's just barely any retracement. That will be trade number 2 if we get it, and then of course also here I will be aiming for the highs. For shorts, please guys, please be careful because you're jumping in front of a train. You have no idea where this is going to stop. Most time frames looks super bullish, super strong. You could have taken maybe here the short from the MPOC, so the naked point of control would have given you 0.5%, 0.7%, but then you right away need to have a TP and move your stop loss to entry. So right now I would be just more inclined to take longs, just trade with the trend until you eventually see something break. How much higher can we go? I have 2 resistance levels. The first resistance I have here at 37,700 33. That's actually the beginning of an area for me. And if I'm then zooming out here on the daily and I go to the left side here, then you can see that we had a bit of a cluster of daily candles, and this is really where we are finally seeing some traffic. So I wouldn't be surprised if actually today already we are going to touch that level. Doesn't mean right away that I will preset a short to say, hey, if we hit it then right away I'm going short. I really want to see something around that level, but I also wouldn't be surprised if eventually go higher. Then I still have this daily level above, shy of 40,000, 39,696, but this whole area right here could be possible resistance. Also, what we have in this area, and that is if we are then going higher, we have the macro, so from this whole trading range. Let me, by the way, quickly take out the view up, because that makes it a little bit unclear. You can see this whole big trading range that we had, the whole bull market and a part of the bear market. The point of control, so the most traded volume over that entire period of time, was the level of 39,000, or just underneath 39,000. I definitely expect a reaction there. So therefore, I'm really treating this as an area. Don't take me for a dollar more or less, but this whole area starting off from what is it, 37,750 all the way to a shy of 40,000. That for me is a complete area where I think, well, we're probably going to get some resistance, get a little bit of a retracement. One or two last things that I want to show you, and that is of course the volume profile of this entire area. You have seen it actually already. I want to just put it in one more time because it shows the strength of the bull market, and there after that we're also going to look at what kind of positions are open right now. You can see that there has been absolutely no retracement, and that this actually is very strong. You see a little bit of a retracement to the point of control, boom, right away up. A little bit of a backtest here of the value area high, boom, all the way up. So this actually, this just looks super strong, absolute bull market territory. And also when you then go to the daily, look at this at market Cipher B. This is extremely strong, fat money flow, RSIs together, signaling strength. We just got a green dot again, momentum wave higher, VWAP higher. This puppy is going to rip, and I think in the next couple weeks we are going to get to see much higher prices. Yes, we had some bearish divergence here on the 4 hour. I already said be careful if you take this trade, because it still looks pretty strong. Money flow looks like in general it wants to come down, but this momentum wave, maybe just one or two more green candles, and this eventually will go higher than this first wave right here, or maybe even this wave, and then the bearish divergence is invalidated. Don't jump into every divergence that you see. Everything needs to line up. So your money flow, your RSIs, price action, candles, and also open interest, for example. And that is the last thing that I want to show you today, because if we're looking at how are these positions being built up, then you know, especially if you've been following me for a long time, if we reach 550, 600 million, then I constantly said, okay, I want to see open interest going lower. But since price is now moving much higher, and we are seeing now 37,000, we also need to see actually a different kind of open interest, the same what we saw in the bull market. We also had like 4, 5, 6 times the amount of open positions that we have versus today. So with higher and lower prices, also you have higher and lower open interest. But if we're just looking at the current price action, something that we have seen quite lately, this is on the 15 minute. You can see that actually here the CVD goes higher, so that means there are more longs opening up, and you can also see that a lot of positions have been building up during this period of time. Then we have another rise here in price, and you can see that the CVD is also slightly going higher, but now the open interest is coming lower. So this is positions closing actually all the way down, and then eventually you see price going higher. So there's then shorts closing out, and now again we see a rise in open interest, and CVD is slightly going higher. And so this last bit right here is then being fueled by longs opening up. So therefore you can see actually the dynamic in the market that sometimes we go a little bit flat and still you see longs or shorts being opened or closed, and eventually you see price going higher. Then you think, hey, people are jumping into the market. No, people are closing out the positions. Closing a short means you need to buy back, therefore price goes higher. You're also getting a quote-unquote short squeeze, therefore you'll see some of these wicks right here, and then eventually maybe again buyers are stepping in, and therefore you see price going higher. So this is actually a very nice chart, and I definitely wanted to show you this, that you don't think like, hey, there are only people buying, only people selling, only short squeeze. That's not the case. It is much more dynamic, and it can change from day to day or from week to week, from positions opening and closing. Right now I don't really have a preferred target for the open interest. I said it, I think it was 2 weeks ago that I said I really wanted to go to 400 million. We reached that, but now eventually price goes much higher. So if we stay here somewhere around 550 or even 600 million, around then the price of 37, 38, 39,000, it's all fine by me. For now, I don't see anything out of the extraordinary that I think, hey, we need to correct this. Hey, we're overextended. I mean, yes, we are overbought, but once you see these very strong bull runs, then an overbought RSI doesn't say a whole lot. To get a retracement at some point would make a lot of sense, but for now the trend is up, so please just trade with the trend. Only look for longs. It pays much more than trying to short the top and constantly getting stopped out, that is just a whole lot easier. Okay, then really the last thing I want to show you, and that is the trade that I took yesterday. I unfortunately closed it out. It was a mistake from my side. Let me see, where is it? I need to check this real quick. Yeah, it was right here, and we had these lows all being built up, and then it went lower. I took this long trade right here, took some profit, and then I by accident closed the trade right here, so that was a bit of a bummer. I would have held it, then of course it would be a very nice long trade, but oh well, it is what it is. Already took a scalp earlier today, so that worked out just fine, and for now I'm just watching price and waiting for New York to open to eventually get into a new trade. Be careful, guys. Like I said, aim more for longs than for shorts until you really see something break in the charts, and if I really see something strange, then I will update you ASAP. Thank you guys so much. See you in the next one. Of course, also don't forget to like, subscribe, click on the bell, click on all so you don't miss anything. Leave me a comment, share the video with your friends if you think that's useful. And like I said, also follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Both of those links you'll find in the description. See you very soon in the next one. Bye bye.